last October, when we were in Italy, we tried out Vanlife, European style. We're loving Vanlife, Italy style.
Woo! Ciao Bella.
We rented a Fiat Ducato Nomad for 12 days in Italy, and this is our van rental tour. We're Rich and Robin. We're exploring Italy from Florence to the heel of the boot. Follow along on our adventures in and out of our Midlife van.
When we were planning our trip for Italy, we came up with the idea of doing some Airbnbs and then also some camping. So we know we can't go long without our camper van. We love our camper van, so I started looking into the possibilities of renting a van in Italy. And sure enough, there's actually a few different websites that support that. One of the companies is Indie Camper. They're actually throughout all Europe and also in the US too. Started looking at their website and found that they had the Nomad version camper, and it is actually based off the same exact platform, same size as our camper van. So it's a Fiat Ducato, and that's what the original concept and design was for our Ram ProMaster. It's the same height, it's the same length, same wheelbase, but the powertrain and some of the interior is a little bit different. And so it's a 2.3 liter diesel with a 6-speed manual transmission.
We rented our van from Indie Camper. We picked it up in Roma. Our van seats 4 and sleeps 4. We'll be picking up our friends later in Sorrento. So we have a dinette with the 2 extra seats. The 2 extra seats with seat belts and a dinette table. The front seats swivel for your other guests. There is a nice side window that opens up for air. There's overhead storage above the dinette. Currently we just have our clothing in here, some other things stored. There is storage on the side, just some shelving, so you gotta be careful with that. And over the cab, we have some extra storage. Right now we have extra bedding up there and some hats. And then we have a little sunroof that has privacy closure, but also for a screen closure for when you open it up for more air. Over the kitchen area has a gas propane stove, tanks in the back, and it also has a sink. And there's no towels provided for the kitchen area or the bathroom. They do give you linens. We purchased the package for the linens to rent, so we have those. There's under lighting that are puck lights, just touch puck lights, and then the overhead, currently just have some food stored in here. This van has a full shower and a bath with a toilet. The light switch is in the kitchen, and there is a shower head that goes up, the sink faucet, clip it in, and then there's also a shower curtain that snaps in the corners, and the toilet, which is also waterproof. There is storage on the side, and there is storage underneath, and little other basket storages. Also, part of the kitchen, there is a shelf above the refrigerator. So the refrigerator is a little 12-volt refrigerator. We don't have much in here yet, and ours happens to have a broken freezer door, but there's baskets and there's shelving for the refrigerator. It's very cold in there. And then one more storage area underneath the refrigerator. Little closet. There's a hanging hook. So underneath the stove and the sink is a drawer. So the package came with dishes, cutlery, and it comes in a Rubbermaid, and then we just unpacked it. And then it comes with some pots and pans, and then we brought some other things, but it comes with pots and pans, a cutting board, when we checked into Indie Campers, they had a little table set aside where people that had rented vans had kitchen items, even some food that they didn't use that was out for some free shopping. So we got some paper wrap for food, we got some plastic wrap for food, some dry pasta. So a few little things just in case we need it. And then if we don't, we just leave it on the table for the next person. And then we have one more bottom storage here for luggage, bags, etc. The van we rented, like I said, for 4 people. So we have bunk beds. The upper bunk has another little sunroof. And then there's a USB for the upper bunk. There's a USB plug for the lower bunk and 120 outlets on each as well. And a little storage back there. Also, there's a USB up here and 3 USBs and a 12-volt power outlet and 3 of the 240 outlets. So the 2 beds come also with a ladder for easy access to the upper bunk. There's also one more little storage thing here next to the USB port. It's another little storage cubby. And both upper and lowers have little canvas storage. We got a couple more hooks for hanging clothes. The van comes with front window coverings as well.
The Nomad it's based off the Fiat Ducato chassis. The builder is Weinsberg, and it's a cookie cutter build. It's like a Winnebago. The functionality is actually pretty good. So like Robin stated, there's a full kitchenette. There's a lot of windows. All the windows are set up to be able to open kind of like a hatch, you know, that pop out. Kind of an emergency kind of pop out, but then they also get the functionality of being able to open them for ventilation. So a little bit tricky, and some of them don't function that great. So this one, there's 4 latches. The concept is you open it all the way and then it should hold. This one isn't doing that. And so we tried a whole bunch of different things, and we finally found just another way to prop it open and hold it open to get some ventilation. And so here is our little paper
wrap?
wax paper. Look at that, perfect, not lots of ventilation. And so then what you have is you have a bug screen that should come down here and latch to keep the critters out. And then there's also, if you come down here, is a night shade. While I'm here, there's something that they pointed out. So to have the heater run, when you have the heater running, there's a micro switch here that detects that the window is closed, because the heater and / water heater won't operate unless this window is closed, because right below this is the exhaust for the heater, and they don't want the fumes coming in through that window. They have a control panel that is multi-function. that shows quite a few, the status of what you have. So this is the house battery. So it actually shows you the level of the house batteries. And then this is the chassis battery, which would be like the main front battery. Not sure why they show that. The engine battery. Here is the freshwater tank capacity. It doesn't show you what the gray water level is. It will show you if you're connected to shore power or if you're connected with the engine running. Here's the main on off for the whole panel. Here's for the water pump, so you can turn the water pump on and off. And they told us don't worry about this, even though it clicks, it does something. We can't find any function for it. Here's a USB. This is a dual function heater. One is for the cab heater, and then the other one's for the water heater. So this outside ring, you can come down to here to be able to turn on the cab heater, and then this will then vary what the fan speed you want for the heater. And then if you come back up to here, then it turns into a water heater, and then you can vary what temperature you want. Like Robin pointed out, there's ventilation windows above the dining and also above the rear of the upper bed. You can open it. To open it's a little bit tricky, and I finally figured out how. So what you want to do is you want to pull down on this handle, and then when you go past and able to get past these teeth, and then you can actually open up. I like him.
One of our little farm dogs just holding down the fort, our guard dog.
The Indie Camper Nomads are just manual transmission. So it's a diesel, so that's a little bit unique by its own. And then it does have a 6-speed manual transmission with the clutch. Pretty straightforward. Actually, it's a pretty smooth shifting. It's pretty much first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So for reverse, take this collar, lift it up, come over, and then come up to reverse. The Ram ProMasters have a clipboard, which is not a functional clipboard because if you put something there, you can't read it. This one has it, but then look at here, you can actually lift it up if you wanted to use it for a clipboard. But even better, you can actually open that up and you can put your cell phone in here. And then be able to see your Google Maps while you're driving. The climate control or the air conditioning is a switch. This is for the blower. So this little guy here, and then you have the temperature knob on the outside. And then over here, here's your recirc, from recirc to fresh or vice versa, and then the different air positions.
The passenger side looks the same to me. This opening here is for your wine to chill it.
Or your beer.
And it's got the same down below as well, and storage.
The van is equipped with shore power. Shore power is really simple. It has an outlet on the side here. Of course, this is Europe, so it's 220. So the connector is a little bit different than what you would see in the States. Pretty long cord to be able to reach over to where you need to plug in. So this is for a 30 amp circuit, but I think it also accommodates a 50 amp circuit. So this is where they store the shore power, but it also has this other cable too. So if you only have a 15 amp circuit that you can plug into like a regular house, then there's an adapter where you can then be able to extend this and be able to plug in anywhere. Just like on the ProMaster, here's where the fuel. This is diesel. All of them are diesel. They have a key on it to prevent theft, but there's also for the DEF fluid is right below that. They told us there's no way to check the level of the DEF fluid, so you're okay until the light comes on, and at that point you need to add DEF fluid. If the light never comes on your whole trip, then you don't have to worry about it. If it comes on, you're supposed to fill it, and that'll help the next person. Here's the exhaust for the water heater and the cabin heater. And then here's the access panel for the cassette toilet. So the cassette toilet is pretty much all you do is just take this out, slide it out, open this, drain it into a porta potty or into a toilet, and then just slide her back in, lock back in. And then gray water is similar to ours. This just has a manual open, and it just comes out of the hose here, just drains it, just like we can do on ours. To fill for city water, this is where you fill. The key is included just to keep people from tampering. So you unscrew it and then fill it up. The garage is similar to the ProMaster. The doors don't swing out all the way like the ProMaster. Garage area is smaller because of the 2 beds, but there's still a good amount of room. The water tank is on this side here, so there's no storage space over here. What comes with the van is, if you have for 4 people, then there's going to be 4 folding chairs and a table, which is behind this. There's room for our luggage. The pots and pans and dishes come in this Rubbermaid. We're using it now for dirty clothes. Here's the propane tank area. They told us that there's 2 tanks. This one is already partially used and we can use it without charge. But if we start the other one, then they're gonna charge us for a whole tank. It does come with a water hose for refill. Not sure, as long as they have the right connector. And it does have a little a brush and dustpan.
What about these back windows?
The back windows are similar to the side window, where you can actually open it up all the way. It has the same latches to be able to open it. These are a little bit better because they actually tighten up with knobs and they stay open. Above the top bed is another pop open window that operates the same as the front over the kitchen. There's some latches up here. I was trying to figure out what these are for, but under the bed or coming out of the bed is this little net area. So there's one in the front of the top bunk and one in the rear of the top bunk, mostly set up so kids don't roll out of the bed while they're sleeping. So here's the 220 outlet that of course only works when you're connected to shore power. There's the switch to the left is for LED lights, and then there's USB power right next to that. And then you have the storage bag that you can be able to put your phone or a book in while you're sleeping.
We added a little rug to our bathroom just to make it a little more comfortable to stand while we are not using the shower. There's no garbage in the van, so we just use our little shopping bags as garbage cans. Our first night, our floor was getting a little dirty, so we found a little rug on the cheap, cut it out for the curve of the van. Follow along on our journey and we'll give a full review of the Indie Campers Nomad at the end of our trip. Subscribe to follow along on our next adventure as we get into a little predicament and head to the Amalfi Coast.
When you were looking at the van, weren't they mostly
They're all over
Europe?
All over the place.
Everywhere.
Poland.
Indie Campers, where do you rent vans?
But
Google it.